Hi, my name is Gabrielle Entile with Drug Topics, and today we're talking to Aman Brar, who is CEO of Jobvite, about the role of remote hiring in the healthcare industry amidst the pandemic. Um, Aman Brar, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, pleasure to be with you, Gabrielle. Thanks.
So before we get into Jobvite and COVID-19 specifically, I'd love for you to give us a little bit of your background and how you came to be CEO of Jobvite.
Yeah, great. So I've spent most of my career in technology, everything from broadband to robotics to previous to Jobvite, I was helping lead a cloud management firm that we had scaled globally after an acquisition. And during that time, me and the team had some insights that we thought could be valuable to a more virtual hiring process. So after that acquisition, we went and started a startup called Canvas. It was the world's first text-based interviewing platform. So back in 2017, that was still a pretty wild concept to be thinking about engaging and screening and interviewing via text message. So we launched that company. It was very successful, ultimately acquired by Jobvite as part of a four-company roll-up with Jobvite, Telemetry, Rollpoint, and Canvas. And then soon after, I was asked to be the CEO of the new Jobvite. So that's kind of my circuitous path to being Jobvite CEO.
Awesome. And then just to start with some basic questions about Jobvite, like what is Jobvite, what does it do, and how?
Yeah, so essentially, we're a software company. So we sell software as a service to the kind of typical SaaS firm out there in the marketplace. And we're essentially a talent acquisition suite. So software is specialized on the recruitment of employees. But the nice thing about Jobvite is we really can handle everything from the recruitment marketing aspects of hiring all the way through internal mobility and internal referrals. So it's a really nice kind of beneficial circular pathway that companies can hop onto with us for the recruiting needs. So everything from branded websites to automated text-based screening. So we've got a pretty robust set of tools that we can offer kind of one analytics and data view to our clients.
And then can you highlight some of the differences between traditional hiring processes versus what Jobvite does remotely?
Yeah. So from a remote perspective, I think where we really think about remote is part of that is in the use of asynchronous technologies like for example text and bots and things like that. That can the reality is we can have a question asked at a different time than the answer is given, right? So those modalities can be really helpful. One of the nice things about SMS, while the software is very complex and rich for the company, what's nice for the candidate is it doesn't require any software to be downloaded, right? So when you think about virtual recruiting or hiring, you're not having to ask somebody to download an app or get to a specific website. You can start to develop that relationship with the candidate, or the candidate can ask, a question like, for example, do you have, paid sick leave, right through SMS before they decide whether they want to hop on a video conference with you or a video interview or something like that. So there's a variety of the tools that we use in our personal lives, right? Whether it's SMS and messaging or video that we're all using. The reality is those same tools are effective, in kind of an enterprise fashion with regard to remote recruiting and hiring practices. So that's a little bit about how Jobvite is helping support.
And so now to dive into the effects of COVID-19 on jobs in the United States. So on one hand, a record of 6.6 million people are filing for unemployment in the United States. But on the other hand, pharmacies like CVS are currently looking to hire 5,000 new candidates and offering bonuses to employees who have to work on site and be exposed to the virus. So how is Jobvite helping these companies who must now navigate a remote hiring process?
Yeah, so I think some of it is the deployment of software and technology to help with remote screening, remote engagement, remote scheduling of interviews and those things. So how do you reduce the friction from the company and the candidate to interact, right? And so chat and messaging and whether it's email and video, those are all ways that we can help kind of cultivate that talent pipeline without actually asking the person to have to come to the store or come to the office to start that engagement process. You can kind of limit the frequency of visits, and then as you get closer to making that final decision, then bring the person in for that kind of physical view of the office or whatnot. So if you take the example of CVS, so there's certainly plenty of technologies from a scaling perspective that the industry and companies like Jobvite offer to help support those processes. And then the other side of it is, one way we really think about the problem and how to help customers is how do you leverage your current employee base for referrals to effectively help bring in more people for employment opportunities. So we've got technology that not only helps kind of folks that aren't associated with the company, but also helps the folks that are currently associated with your company, help you more formally refer employees, and that can be whether web, text, etc. So lots of solutions being provided, but I think ultimately it has to come with industry expertise and folks that can help you think creatively. And the last thing I'd say is it's an opportunity for companies to differentiate right now, kind of in a crisis. How do we care for our employees? There's an opportunity to differentiate the type of employer that you are, and then how can you tell that story in a way that might make you more attractive versus one of your peers or competitors in the space.
Aman, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gabrielle. I appreciate it. Have a great day.